No.
Puffy invited me. I don't bend over in that way. Don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything. That's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up those things. But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once it go fluid, it's gone.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about.
You know how many celebrities went to Diddy's house?
When Terrence Howard sat down for a podcast interview, no one expected the conversation to detour into one of the most jaw-dropping revelations in recent entertainment history. What started off as a casual discussion quickly escalated into a full-on exposé. And by the time the episode ended, the internet was in flames. Howard, known for his intense performances and unfiltered honesty, had just dropped bombshells about none other than music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, claims so serious they've now become the center of an ongoing federal investigation. It all began when Terrence mentioned a bizarre and unsettling interaction with Diddy, hinting that the music executive had repeatedly tried to lure him into an inappropriate situation under the guise of working together. Diddy allegedly invited Terrence over, not for business, but for something far more questionable. At first, Diddy asked for acting lessons. Then he said he wanted to hear Howard's music. But every time Terrence showed up, he was met with nothing more than Diddy sitting silently and staring. Terrence described a strange atmosphere and explained that it was his assistant who finally connected the dots, saying flat out that Diddy was trying to make a move on him. Howard declined further contact and never went back. But he didn't stop there. What came next was the real shocker. He claimed Diddy had a history of similar behavior with other men in the industry, particularly targeting black men at his infamous parties. These events, often referred to as freak-offs, were described by Terrence as setups, elaborately staged gatherings where Diddy allegedly manipulated vulnerable men, breaking them down psychologically and emotionally. The goal, according to Howard, wasn't just indulgence, but domination. An effort to strip these men of their sense of masculinity and leave them powerless. While Terrence didn't name anyone else who had been subjected to these tactics, he made it clear he wasn't the only one. He suggested that several other men in the entertainment industry had fallen into the same trap but were too ashamed or too scared to speak out. He said once a man gives up his manhood, there's no coming back from it. That comment alone set social media ablaze. Then, in what felt like an escalation, Terrence took to Twitter, posting a cryptic video where he appeared both serious and shaken. He warned that powerful people were trying to silence him and hinted that he was on the verge of revealing everything he knew. He used the hashtag #mancard, referencing his earlier comments and sending the internet into a frenzy. Fans and commentators began speculating that Terrence was sitting on information that could completely destroy Diddy's public image. And maybe more than that. That speculation only intensified when the federal government updated its indictment against Diddy, adding 2 new charges and naming additional individuals believed to be involved. One of the rumored names? Ava Barron, Diddy's adopted daughter. Back in 2020, right in the thick of the global pandemic, Diddy shocked his fans with an unexpected Instagram Live. In the video, he introduced a young white girl named Ava Barron Combs as his newly adopted daughter. It was a moment that initially seemed heartfelt, maybe even noble. Diddy explained that he had taken Ava in, claiming she was on the streets and needed help. He compared himself to celebrities like Madonna and Charlize Theron, who famously adopted children from other backgrounds and countries. But even in that moment, something felt off to some viewers. Ava appeared hesitant, confused even, as Diddy prodded her to explain how he'd adopted her. He repeatedly emphasized that she had other parents, but was also his child. The whole exchange was awkward, and Ava's body language seemed guarded, even nervous. Still, the video didn't go viral at the time. Most people moved on quickly, chalking it up to another celebrity doing a good deed. Fast forward to 2024, and everything about that video now seems suspect. The warmth once perceived in Diddy's adoption announcement now feels more like performance. And the most disturbing part? Ava virtually disappeared from the public eye after that. Aside from a few rare appearances with Diddy's biological daughters, she was never seen again in photos, public outings, or social media posts. It was like she had been quietly erased from his narrative altogether. Now, with Diddy facing intense scrutiny for a string of allegations related to coercion, manipulation, and abuse, fans are revisiting Ava's story with fresh eyes. And what they're seeing is deeply troubling. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, added fuel to the fire when he gave a tell-all interview. He claimed the entire adoption was a publicity stunt, orchestrated by Diddy to improve his public image during the chaos of the pandemic. According to Gene, once the cameras were off and the attention faded, Diddy lost interest in Ava entirely. But Gene didn't stop there. He insinuated that there were darker elements to Ava's story, things he couldn't say directly but hinted at with chilling clarity. He said Ava might have been used, not cared for, that her inclusion in the family was never about love, but control. He didn't provide proof, but his tone suggested he believed something sinister had happened. Then, word started spreading online that federal agents were now investigating whether Ava was among Diddy's alleged victims. According to whispers from insiders, she might be one of the new individuals listed anonymously in the updated indictment. If that turns out to be true, the implications are devastating. It would mean that the young girl Diddy once proudly introduced to the world as part of his family may have suffered behind closed doors. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any darker, Terrence Howard hinted again, this time more directly, that he knew things about Ava's situation. He stopped short of revealing everything, but he made it clear he wasn't done talking. In another video, he said if anyone tried to discredit him or attack his reputation, they should have the courage to confront him directly. He added that if they wanted a fight, they would get one. Not metaphorically, a real fight, a duel. The intensity of his words stunned viewers and showed just how serious he was about what he knew. Meanwhile, the legal documents tied to Diddy continue to grow. The newest filings describe a pattern of manipulation that allegedly spans over a decade. They accuse Diddy of using his fame, wealth, and influence to lure people into compromising situations. Women were allegedly flown across state lines, given drugs, coerced into participating in exploitative activities, and then paid off afterward to make it seem consensual. The documents even reference male participants in these so-called performances, indicating that the events weren't limited by gender and were far more orchestrated than anyone previously imagined. Within that same paperwork, investigators describe a consistent strategy. Diddy allegedly used intimidation, money, and access to control people's decisions. And perhaps most chilling of all, these performances were sometimes recorded, not just documented, but filmed, edited, and saved. That's what investigators are now trying to find. Evidence of those recordings. If any of them involve Ava, it could blow the entire case wide open. Gene Deal said the feds are searching through all of Diddy's devices, looking for any images or footage that involve minors or people who didn't consent. He claims that insiders already know about these videos and that it's just a matter of time before they're made public, or worse, used in court. And then there's 50 Cent. The rapper and producer has been warning the public about Diddy for years, posting cryptic messages and sarcastic comments on social media that many chalked up to jealousy or beef. But according to some sources, 50 wasn't just trolling, he had actual evidence. He's allegedly working on a documentary that will expose everything, including what really happened with Ava. He's hinted that there are tapes that the public has never seen, tapes that allegedly show Diddy crossing lines that no one should ever cross. The title of the documentary? Did He Do It? According to 50, this isn't about revenge, it's about truth. And now, as the legal process unfolds, his project is getting renewed attention. More people are starting to believe that 50 wasn't just stirring the pot, he was warning us. Terrence Howard seems to believe that too. He hasn't backed down, and based on his recent interviews, he might just be the first celebrity willing to stand up in court or on TV and say out loud what so many others only whisper in private. This isn't just about celebrity drama anymore, it's about a possible cover-up that includes exploitation, manipulation, and the calculated destruction of innocence. As investigators continue to dig, and as Terrence and others bring their truth to the surface, the walls around Diddy's carefully crafted public image are starting to crack. And if Ava is indeed one of the alleged victims in the case, it raises even more questions. Where is she now? Why did she vanish? And most importantly, what exactly happened behind closed doors in the Combs household? We may not have all the answers yet, but one thing is certain. Terrence Howard's bold decision to speak out has changed everything. He's forced a spotlight on a part of the industry that most people try to ignore. And now that the floodgates are open, there may be no going back.